Hey everyone, it's Sarah Oblak Spiker here, and I'm coming to you from our backyard. I hope you can hear the birds chirping in the back. It's absolutely gorgeous. I wanted to talk to you about something that I have experienced on and off until I realized it's just a natural occurrence for me. And I wanted to talk about it because I know a lot of my clients who are highly accomplished, mission driven, heart centered, and soul powered women and men alike are experiencing, and many of them are beating themselves over it. So, you know how we consistently talk about achieving and creating more and getting out of our own ways and increasing our productivity, right? And working smarter, not actually working harder. And there's always so much to be done. What I have experienced is something that millions are going through at the moment as we speak. And the funny thing was that when the quarantine happened and the kids stay home and the homeschooling has been added to our workloads, first couple of weeks we were rocking and rolling it. And I felt so inspired and creative juices kept flowing, right? Completely unstoppable. And it was almost as if there was something powering me to continuously blazing the trail. Because in many ways, in a situation when we are right now on the energetic and emotional level, I have been there before. So I had this memory and I had the stamina to really plow and blaze the trail and be this light. And then something happened. I got incredibly clear on a whole new level of what is it that I'm even creating, right? And that happens. That's actually something I want to address as well. My little one just came to tell me something. Um, so, in the past, as a former athlete, we did not give ourselves days off. And if you're watching The Last Dance, or if you're still catching up, it's as clear as day. There's no days off. You show up, you work through it. When you're exhausted, when your body's hurting, when you're sick, when you're injured, you find this space deep inside, you reach for it, and you show up and you still do it. And that was my mentality for a long time. And I would try to push through even when I felt uninspired. So what I find out for myself, and I was reflecting on it, I would show up just for the sake of showing up. And I would try to talk about something just for filling up the space. Or I would try to post something even if it felt icky, because it was this notion that, oh, you have to show up XYZ amount of times per day. You have to do this, you have to do that. It was exhausting, obviously. So I stopped doing that, and I really slowly but surely started to allow my heart to guide me and really trust the gut, right? When I felt inspired, I would move, I would create, I would share, I would give, I would serve, right? And then the cycle would come around when I simply had to not necessarily close off, but take a step back to regroup, ground, center, and really recalibrate to every single new level. And it was an interesting observation looking at this whole new way of being, whole new way of serving, whole new way of doing. It was really unknown to me at the beginning. So then when this quarantine happened, I was on a conscious level, I was totally aware of those cycles, and I cut myself a lot of slack, and I turned up the to-do list and was like, we're rocking and rolling, I'm fully present, we're having a great time, I'm enjoying time with the kids, we have done this before, I have been in this space, like I said, energetically, mentally, emotionally. I have been in quarantine type of environments before. So to me, it was like really natural. I was like, okay, great. I can show up and I can lead. And then, like I said, I got this incredible clarity just a couple of days ago. Something happened to a person near and dear to my heart. It broke me. And yet it broke open this shell in which my vision and mission has been hibernating and being gestated, so to speak, for so many years. You know, when you have certain direction to where you're supposed to be going and when you're called to and guided towards, but how exactly is it supposed to look like? To me, it just crystallized a couple of days ago. And I'm telling you, from that moment on, I went back into this hibernation almost mode. And I simply had to give myself time and space to just be, absorb everything, process everything, which again, it is very different from how I used to operate. You know, my own coaches, my own mentors would tell me that I am a fastest action taker ever. Here's something, bam, it's done, right? This time I had to give myself really time to be and to process and to strategize, which is something that I naturally do. In the meantime, keeping a pulse on how does that feel? How does it feel moving forward? So the reason I'm sharing this with you is because I recently had a conversation with one of my clients who, in many ways, operates on a similar operating system, so to speak. But them and so many others have been beating themselves up over it, and they had been judging this downtime, and they would they would call it wasting time and procrastinating and seeking perfection and all those heavy judgmental descriptions and labels. And it was just wearing them down, because what's worse for somebody who's otherwise high achiever, we love to keep our minds busy and occupied. And when there's nothing else to do, what do? We tell ourselves stories, and we create our own reality in which we keep staying busy. And if there's nothing physical to do, then the mind keeps going on, and it's repeating the stories over and over again of to keep us in the zone of comfort. The funny thing is that with the mindset work that we do with our clients in parallel to strategic work, when you clear through and when you eradicate those limiting beliefs, you create an empty space and you create this vacuum. So what is the first instinct? It's to feel this emptiness. I gotta do something. And the mind, the ego, it's gonna fill it with some more stories. And the cycle continues, right? That's why we say, we're peeling back the layers just like the onion. But to come to the space when you can just let it be and luxuriate, as one of my friends say, luxuriate in this emptiness, in the quietness, in the nothingness, so to speak, and just let everything settle. That is extremely hard for somebody who is meant to be on go, and who thrives on feedback, who thrives on external results, who thrives on meeting and exceeding goals, and who also shoulders the responsibilities towards their teams, towards their families. And there's a whole laundry list of things we can dive into that has us convinced that we have no time to slow down. So what this current reality with the epidemic is really a beautiful opportunity for. Why this current reality is a beautiful opportunity. English is a second, third language, something like that. It literally forces us to dive deeper and to face all of those stories, all of those demons, all of those limiting beliefs, all of those triggers head on, because there's no distractions, there's no escapes, there's no usual tools that we get to use in order to kind of mask what is really bubbling to the surface. And we're keeping busy. We have our own outlets to do that. Right now, they're all taken away, plus a whole new dynamic that is being presented, is going on in our homes with the family, with spouses, with partners. Not to mention the stress and uncertainty, so to speak, if you choose to play into this narrative. I personally do not. I personally choose to see it as limitless possibilities, as new opportunities, as an invitation to really go inwards and do more inner work and continuously grow and evolve. And like I said, with the stamina and the fact that I have been here before, my ability to blaze the trail for those who might not have been, and to shine my light even brighter, like a lighthouse, instead of being a tugboat and going out and trying to rescue people and trying to convince them and persuade them and drag them over. Like, no, my mission is to be this mighty, extremely bright lighthouse. And that's what my clients are stepping in as well. They realize that in order to really step into the next level CEO, the next level leadership, the next level creativity, the next level, the next version or the truest version, fullest expression of who they truly are meant to be, it is a part of, success strategy to give themselves permission to allow themselves this idle time. Not just idle, but the time of emptiness, quiet, because only then we can get the creativity flowing again, and we get to feel all there is to feel, we get to experience all there is to experience, we get to process, and we get to choose, and we get to release. Because if we are, just like I mentioned earlier, judging something and we're trying to shut it off or block it or push it away or numb it, we're pretty much just building a dam on this flow that's consistently flowing through, and we are just the vessel. So if we're creating the dam, the way we do one thing is how we do everything. So we're blocking everything, and that is really evident in, again, working with my clients as well as the work that I have done on myself. You know how sometimes you just want for somebody to give you a checklist of things to follow and to do, so you don't have to bother and you don't have to really think about. And just like, so many responsibilities, so many decisions that I have to make. Can it just be simple? And you know what? It's even harder than just following this. The reason why it's so hard is because it's not meant for you. It's not, it doesn't vibrate at your frequency. It does not align with your vision. It is somebody else's game plan. And somebody else's game plan is not going to get you to where you are meant to be. That's why ultimately it becomes so, constricting, trying to follow somebody else's definition, trying to follow somebody else's expectations, and fit into the labels and the boxes that are so familiar. That's why about 1% of people who are really willing to do this work and who are willing to spread their wings, that's why there comes a period of time when it just feels like, the space in between. You're like, what the heck am I doing? It was so easy, and you're looking back on the beginning of your journey. I was like, it used to be so easy. I could just show up and I could muscle it through and I could hustle everything and I could grind and I got the results and it was awesome. Well, something must have happened along the way. If you're me, you burnt out entirely. I don't know what your story is and what your experience has been, but I had learned from this glorious experience of a burnout to really look inwards and to realize that what got me to that point, it's not what's meant to get me to where I am meant to be and destined to be and who I'm destined to become. So just, getting the strategies and tactics and the latest and the greatest, whatever is working. For the 1%, they feel, how do I say that? They feel immense pride in the fact that they have outgrown all of it, and they elevated themselves and their circles, and they also surround themselves with those who continuously elevate them and their perspectives, their perceptions, their ideas, their vision, their attitudes. little one came to ask me something again. So that's the beautiful part about working from home. Just a second. So, at this point, you really take the ownership in the fact that you have your own rhythm, and you now embrace that rhythm to come back the full circle from where we were first talking when we first started this video. You're no longer fighting with yourself, but you can really be fully present and honoring how you operate emotionally and on the physiological levels, on energetic levels, right? Because there's so many levels, there's so many layers to who we are. This human physical body, external, skin, it's just a tiny part of it. And that has been one of the most incredible lessons that I had learned along the way. And I'm still learning, and I will be learning until my last breath. But it had allowed me to stop agonizing and really set myself free in so many ways that I can't even begin to describe. So when those highly accomplished, established, driven business owners, leaders, CEOs, experts, creators, team leaders, when they come to me and they, describe to me how they have this vision, but they feel that they're procrastinating in fulfilling this vision and making it a reality. Or they say, I finally created everything I had ever asked for. I'm afraid what happens next because I'm afraid that it's gonna fall apart. I'm afraid to make the next move. Or, the ones who at this particular moment, they're trying to figure out and put the pieces together and create their own new reality instead of waiting for it to happen and appear in front of them. Like oftentimes we operate by default. What's gonna, whatever's meant to be is gonna come our way. And they really try to be proactive, and they really try to create the future of their own unique design. There's so many different pieces to consider, and they feel lost, and they feel overwhelmed, and they feel they feel called to team up with somebody to, sometimes they need this strategic support. Sometimes all they need is somebody to hold space for them. Sometimes they need somebody to tell them the truth and help them see their own truth without the secret agenda. Because we all know that when you reach a certain level, only a few people can really resonate and really understand what is that you're experiencing. Even fewer of them are willing to call you out on your BS. Even fewer of them will do so without any secret agendas for themselves. So it really becomes this incredible space when we get to choose to play it. We get to choose to expand into, and we get to choose to create from. And in order to do that, it is important to understand that this quiet time and the time of just pure integration, it is part of the process. It's part of the success strategy. And as much as our cellular memory wants to get into the doing and hustling and grinding and just keeping busy, we need to consciously choose to leave that part behind as well and release it and really make decisions based on where we are called to be and what we're meant to create, as opposed to where we are right now and all the memories that are coming up from the past experiences. So I hope this resonates with you. And like I said, the reason I had to share this with you, it was literally coming through, was because I am seeing in my own experiences, and I'm seeing it through my clients, how challenging this time can be and how judgmental we get to be towards ourselves, and that it continuously takes practice and this conscious awareness, because at the end of the day, it's something that it's a complete human experience. None of us are here, even, how do you say that? No matter how aware you are, and no matter the level of your evolution and how advanced you are when it comes to the mindfulness and all the energy work and vibrational frequency, and this whole new world beyond this physical 3D reality. At the end of the day, because we are here, we are only human, and it is a consistent practice to notice what we're experiencing, choosing whether to dive deeper and be like detectives, or simply choosing to let it go, simply choosing different thoughts, different feelings, different emotions, and then cultivating different habits, creating different results, and ultimately shifting our frequency. And we all know that it is a common knowledge for those of us who are in this realm, who are having those conversations, that we are the ones who create our own reality, and that everything we ever desire and we are meant for is already in the vortex. It's just up to us to match our frequency to those desires, and that's when they become available to us. And it's the human mind that oftentimes kicks in, and all the hooks that are pulling us back, and the memories from the past, and the stories, and the patterns, and all the generational and cultural layers that have been put on us are the things that are holding us down and really clipping our wings if we let it. And that's why I, once I embarked on this journey, looking back now, I was like, yeah, it all made sense. Even from 12-year-old kid traveling around Europe playing at tournaments, starting this mindset work on a very different level than with my understanding right now. It's like, oh yeah, it all made sense. And I can only be excited about what is yet to come. And I'm only get to be excited for every single experience that has already come my way. And I got to really reframe it. I actually got a really rough wake-up call. Oh, thank you. I really got a rude awakening not that long ago, when I used to take pride in my life story, and I would get a lot of feedback, and people was like, oh wow, this is so amazing, and you've been and you have been through so much. And it's like, oh wow, this is awesome, my ego loved it. I didn't even realize until I was called out on it that I was the one who was attached to hardship and struggle, and that I created my own reality through that lens. And every experience that I had, I chose to make it even harder. And then with that awakening, I was like, oh, isn't that interesting? And the first thing I wanted to say, it used to be hard. And now I'm like, no, that just goes and reaffirms everything. But you know what? Every single one has been a glorious experience that had allowed me to elevate, to expand, to take a step forward, to release, to learn, to integrate, to embody the new ways of being, code by code. And moving forward, I am truly excited what is yet to come. And like I said, this has been one of the narratives that I chose to step into. Because simply if you feel into what feels good for yourself, fear and lack and scarcity and all this contraction, that doesn't feel good. Expansion, possibilities, opportunities, knowing that we create our own reality, knowing that we get to create the future of our own unique, most vibrant desires, that is exciting. That feels light. So when you step into that, and when you choose to follow that path, and when you choose to start letting go of things that are wearing you down and pulling out the hooks that are pulling you back, also allow yourself this quiet space, this empty space, and understand that with so much going on around us right now, and so many responsibilities and juggling and multitasking, it is normal that you are craving even more of that quiet, empty, laid back, alone time. Honor yourself, give it to yourself. It doesn't necessarily mean that every free evening that you get, you need to be behind a computer doing something, writing, creating, stuff like that, because you get to activate and integrate on an energetic level, and you get to upgrade your vibrational frequency to the next level. It's almost like driving in a car and you're tuning into the next station, to the next station, and that doesn't happen by doing things, it just happens by being. So allow yourself to just be, and honor yourself with the fact that you don't have to judge yourself for that, and you don't have to find a label to attach to this being. What if you could stop calling it procrastination? What if you could stop calling it a waste of time? What if you could just call it, I am being. I'm just being. I'm creating. I'm being. So much different. So much different. So this is something I wanted to share with you because, like I said, it has been my own personal experience, and it's been involved in many conversations I'm having with my circles. A lot of conversations I'm having within my circles, a lot of conversations I'm having with my clients, a lot of conversations I'm having with my, even with my friends, colleagues, right? We are all in it together. And it's not something that's unusual and unheard of. But I do believe that it has to be expressed more. Because especially at certain levels, it's really hard to turn around and not just ask for help, but sometimes you don't even know who to reach out for, because there's so many people who are relying on you, who depend on you, who look up to you, and naturally you want to make sure that you are at your best, and that by being strong, by having your shit together, it's this perception that this is the only way that we can lead. And I'm here to tell you, and I'm sure you have been told before, it couldn't be further from the truth. There's no need to pretend. There's no need to brave things through. There's no need to carry a mask or, act and really suppress things and hide things. Share it with your people. Share it with your audiences. Share it with your circles and reach out. Ask for support. Asking for support, it's not a sign of weakness, it's actually a sign of strength. And even strong leaders, those independent leaders, fierce leaders, there comes a point we cannot do it on our own. And there comes a point we get to ask for help, and there comes a point where we get to receive this help, whether it's in a physical form, whether it's the energetic, holding the energetic space, sharing the energy, maybe it's more of a strategic support. Whatever it is, you get to receive it because you deserve it. You're worthy of it. So from my heart to yours, this is the message for today. And let me know if it resonates. Let me know what's coming up for you, and let me know, what do you see yourself, and what's coming up in terms of what are you pulled towards, and what do you get to give yourself and give to yourself and allow for yourself in order to create and realize that new reality. It should be really, really, really fun. If only you let it be. Just let it be. Sending you much love. Bye.